This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in New Jersey. I'm here with Val Galloway. Since 2021, she's been helping you gain more awareness, clarity, and focus while providing individual coping strategies for your life challenges. I'm joined here with the certified, accredited, international coach. Val, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Hi, thank you for having me, Mr. Atencio. It's a privilege and a honor to be here.
Excellent. We're going to have a good time. Let me start off a little bit explaining about your background. You were born and
Okay.
raised in Oxford, England, before arriving in the
Yes,
US. You were formally
yes.
educated at Queen's College with a master's degree in social science and bachelor's degree in community health. You now provide life coaching and bereavement support for others to move toward lives of purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. So share with me, first of all, how your journey kind of got you here today.
Well, a little bit about myself, my bio. I consider myself Afro-British. I was born and raised in Oxford, England, to West Indian immigrants. At the age of two, along with my sisters, Janet and Mandy, we were all fostered to a Caucasian family. In total, there were 15 of us. And so I grew up literally on a farm on the outskirts of Oxford, England, in a quaint village called Leafield. And what happened was ultimately, my mother met an American US Air Force sergeant who was stationed in Upper Heyford Air Force Base. And so around the age of 16, he got sent back to his hometown, which was Waco, Texas. And so my mother eventually followed him back to Waco and they got married, hence my journey here to the US. And so that transpired when I was 18. And I've been here ever since. So, as far as coaching, how that applies to my coaching abilities, I grew up very sheltered. I experienced a lot of, let's call it emotional abandonment and abuse as a result of that experience with that family. It was a very dark period for me. And so I grew up kind of introverted, painfully shy. And so I naturally gravitated towards helping others so I could project my feelings outward as opposed to dealing with them inward. Hence why I became a coach, because it was easier, Mr. Atencio, to just focus on other people's problems as opposed to looking within at my own.
Wow, what a great story. I mean, you've been there, you've done that, you know what people are going through, so you can definitely help them. I mean, the term life coaching has been around since the 80s. While some see this kind of as therapy, let's start by educating the viewers out there how the coaching model is different than therapy. Explain that.
Well, coaching is more future forward focus, whereas therapy is dealing with issues from the past. It's more therapeutic in
Okay.
terms of coaching therapeutically is more past, whereas coaching is more present. It's helping you, find ways to feel whatever your
Yeah.
desires, your objectives are, your goals. It's helping you to walk that out with a coach that's
Yeah.
helping to sort of co-pilot that journey with you.
Definitely different compared to what you're used to in the health industry with therapy. This is right now helping them cope, make changes, and move into the future. I mean,
Yeah,
I'd say
exactly.
we all want to enjoy life with peace, joy, and confidence. Is the first step just having a clear vision of what you really want? And is that what you help initially with?
Yes, I'm very big on transformational empowerment coaching. My niche is empowerment coaching. And so I come from the perspective of, helping people find their purpose, helping people achieve transformational breakthroughs and development and growth. So I believe the path to transformation begins when you have a clear vision of what you want and
Yeah.
then commit to taking the action steps towards facilitating it.
Okay, so step one, you've got to know what the vision is, getting some clarity there. Once you know what that is, what you want, then, like you say, a commitment to take action step towards that vision. I mean, that's always required. Is that where a coach can kind of help you with some strategies to take some of those steps and some of that action?
Yeah, I would say so. It's my objective really is to help clients discover their own strengths towards, securing an abundant life, basically, with, true meaning and purpose. It's about helping people find their inner strengths and their meaning, their sense of purpose, why we're here on this earth. So I do tend to come more from a spiritual standpoint. So I subscribe to, I don't know if you're familiar with Miles Monroe. I love to quote him because he was he was a Bahamian evangelist, and he's been very instrumental in my own Christian walk and my coaching endeavors, because he spoke on spiritual purpose. And he was to me an amazing speaker, and actually the first person to really introduce me to the many concepts that I could see serving as a foundational base for my own coaching endeavor. So he introduced me to the ideology that probes the notion of purpose as it pertains to our final destiny here in this world. He believes it all begins with questioning who we are, which speaks to our self identity and also our heart motives as well. He proposed that we question, where we're from, why we're here on this earth. And what he said most of all, which really resonates with me, is, most people come to this world, they have a purpose and they're destined to fulfill an assignment, right? And most people don't fulfill that assignment, and they end up in the graveyard, and they take their gifts and their talents with them. So it gets buried, companies that could have been started, masterpieces that could have been painted, people performing that never really utilize their gifts and talents. So I'm all about, Mr. Atencio, helping people discover their inner core
Yeah.
values and
Wow.
their talents and their abilities.
That's exciting because really just something as simple as asking a question. Why am I here? What is the reason? That alone can guide people into opening up and trying to answer that question. I mean, your niche, like you said, really is empowerment coaching. You teach empowerment techniques with individual coping strategies for life's challenges. Can
Mhm.
challenges be overcome more easily, would you say, when we are empowered?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for example, a coaching session, a client might discuss particular issues that they're struggling with. And so by using techniques like value shifts, like a scale that we utilize, the coach can help shift a client who might be stuck in their limiting belief systems, or perhaps, questioning their own capabilities. So the coach can help shift a rigid mindset from, feeling stuck to envisioning greater possibilities.
That's exciting. I mean, in the area of grief and bereavement, are you able to support patients, families, and even their caregivers? And why does that entire village all need support really to be effective?
Well, let's face it, we all experience bereavement and grief at some point or another, especially after this COVID season, I've observed that when death is imminent, it's usually when a sense of resignation takes place in that moment. And when that end draws near, most patients tend to call on a higher power, Um, and so as a bereavement coach, I lean into helping people, you know, towards that end of life, find the comfort and peace that will, help them, I guess, you know, go
Move
over to
on,
the other
pass
side
on.
more peacefully.
Yep.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, being able to walk through that door with understanding of what is happening, that's exciting. Your philosophy is that you are your own inner resource. You believe
Absolutely.
you believe we all have the answers to our problems within us, and you simply guide others to unlock that potential. Explain more on that for me.
Yeah, again, Mr. Atencio, that kind of leans into really getting a greater understanding of how to facilitate that ability that we all have within us. And so, people don't realize that, again, I'm coming from a spiritual standpoint, and not everyone believes. But for me personally, I believe that we have an inner spirit guide. And that guide is, you activate that guide through higher faculties. And, when you lean into it and tap into it, you become more aware of where it's guiding you. And that comes from the inner stirrings that are leading you towards the passions that have been instilled within you to, to evoke. So that way you can start to, discover what it is that you were put on this earth to become, because we were all created for a purpose. And again, that is spiritual, but if you think about it, why are we here?
Yeah,
But we're
exactly.
here on this earth for a reason, but most people don't understand how to tap into, you know
Yeah.
understanding what that purpose is, and how to bring it forward, bring it out of you
Going
from the inner
going
core.
beyond just listen to your gut. What you're really listening to is the spirit that is talking to you. You're tapping into that higher faculty,
Yes,
without a
which is
doubt.
your intuition, and that's where the awareness comes in. You sharpen your awareness as to what that intuition is leading you towards.
Yeah, exciting. I mean, the four basic levels that you support are emotional, mental, behavioral, and like you said, spiritual. Should
Yes.
all those be in alignment really to see the best transformational breakthroughs? Why do you think it's important to address all those areas, and why is that something you try to do?
Well, because it's all they're all components that go together. They're all in alignment in order to be able to understand how the higher mental faculty works, in terms of bringing all those components together, so that way you can learn how to move and bridge over to what it is that you're here to provide.
Be it personal empowerment or grief coaching, where you provide an opportunity to work through the grief and healing associated with loss, is your help available in person as well as virtually? And how do people get started with you?
So I've worked with a lot of palliative care patients and their caregivers, especially during the COVID season. And, I think the most meaningful help I think anyone can give, the bereaved, is empathy. And this is another quality the people that work with people that are in bereavement, I should say. If you think about the stages that you go through. So I'm a big believer in, I don't know if you're familiar with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She was the person that coined the 5 stages of grief and bereavement, which are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And so when you're going through those changes after you've lost a loved one, such as myself, you touch on those areas oftentimes. No, I'm not saying everybody, but for the most part, you may experience at least one or two of those experiences that you typically feel when you've lost a loved one. And so for me, it's all about helping people get over onto the other side of that grief, and finding ways to go from
Yeah.
pain to perseverance to peace.
Basically getting you through those stages, ultimately coming to a point of acceptance so that you can move on with your life as well. I mean, Val, you are a dedicated professional with many years in the healthcare industry. You now help others build awareness, clarity, and focus on transformational change. Is is this rewarding work for you?
Oh, absolutely. Because again, I'm all about people finding their meaning in life, their purpose, and to me, that is what life is all about. I mean, otherwise, it feels so empty. Life is to be lived to the fullest. We're all here to find our peace and our joy and our happiness, and so coaching to me is very instrumental in helping people find that that purpose for themselves. And so transformational coaching is so important in this day and age, in terms of bringing people to more enlightenment of
Yeah.
how to go about finding their joy in life and happiness.
I love your personal story. I love the fact that these are things that you've been through yourself and you're now helping others. Basically, when they succeed, you succeed. You're able to see them take these steps. I'm excited to share your story. And viewers out there, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is her website. On the website, see all the services she provides, both in person or on the phone or even face to face via Zoom. She can pretty much speak with you across the country as well. Read the great testimonials on the site of many that she has empowered. You can also order her book and listen to her podcast right there on the website. Also, once again, that is Val Galloway, Breaking the Chains That Bind You. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.